All right, I'm all prepped. The only thing I don't have is my fan, and I'm warm. I feel like I need to go get my fan.
Go get your fan.
All right, I'll be right back.
We got time. We got all night.
I'm your biggest fan.
I have, I'm not cheating on you guys, but I have another podcast, and I just got the theme song to it, like literally before signing on, and I was like, I want to listen to it, but I have not, so.
Well, what is it, like three friends talking?
Yeah, it's the Punch Down podcast where we just fucking are rude and make fun of each other.
Right now, we're all going, am I in it?
Am I not invited?
Did I not get the email? Am I late to it?
It's me and Steve and a guest, and that's it. And we do guess the guest, but we always know who it is.
All right, I'm all set. I got my fan. I got my lip gloss.
Let me see your fan. Do it.
Do it.
We want to see it.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Got my seltzer.
Good.
Got my tissues. Got my tumbler of wine.
You're not telling a sad story, are you?
No, but I have allergies.
Oh, okay.
And I live in a house with 7 dogs and 2 cats. So
Oh my God.
How many dogs?
7. Did you want one? Oh, how about a trio of bonded elderly chihuahuas?
Does that qualify as a pack?
It's more like a motley crew in the Shakespearean sense, not in the band sense. But yeah,
Petra, how did you end up with 7 dogs?
I ended up with 7 dogs because I used to work in a veterinary hospital and volunteered with a couple of rescues. And when people find out that you are a person who will adopt elderly dogs that are on the verge of death, they foist them upon you and you do not say no. That's how. Some of them I found running down the street. Most of them I was told, oh, please take them because they're going to die tomorrow.
And they never do.
They never do. They last years.
Yeah.
They get comfortable and confident and blossom.
They certainly do. I know. So that's how.
Jessie, you've done that with a cat. You found 2 cats.
Actually, in my life, I've found 4 cats.
Amateur.
I don't want cats. I want 0 cats.
What do you want? You don't even want dogs. You just
No,
want.
I do. I want dogs.
You do?
Let me listen. We'll talk because I got a plethora.
I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old dog, so talk to me in a while. Not-
5 years, hopefully, maybe 6.
She can't hear us, but yeah, old dogs are my favorite dogs.
That's mainly what I have is very elderly dogs.
Jessie, is your dog deaf or she can't hear us because she's like listening to metal right now or?
She's in the car somewhere. I don't know.
I haven't seen her for a few days.
She's deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign language for a dog. Sign language is always awesome on the podcast.
She refuses to learn sign language. So
One of my dogs has some sign commands, but only one. And the only ones he pays attention to are give me your paw, sit, and give me a kiss.
yeah, I trained her because they tell you to use hand signals. So she knows the same old ones that we've been doing, but sometimes she pretends to be blind and can't see those. So
We did that with our daughter too, because they tell you to do that with infants, and then you forget them once they start to speak. So when your dog started to speak, Jessie, did you just forget all the signs?
when she started to speak Mandarin, I knew I was in trouble. So
Hey, this is Steve with the Punch Up Podcast. With me on this episode are Jessie Preisendorfer,
hey, Steve.
Kevin Regan,
Hello, Stephen.
Ian O'Shea,
Hey, Steve.
and our storyteller is Petra DeLuca. Hello, Petra.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for being here. Why don't you tell us a story?
Okay, so I am not originally from the United States. I was born and raised in Europe. I lived there until I was 23 years old. I was born in Germany, and when I was an infant, my parents moved to Italy, so they took me with them, which I think they thought was a good idea at the time. But somewhere in my mid-20s, I decided I was going to come to the United States because America, and the streets are paved with cheese. So here's my story.
About cheese.
Is the day I moved to the United States.
Oh, nice. Can I say this really quickly? At dinner tonight, my daughter was talking about you, and she said, because Petra, she's Italian. So that's my 6-year-old.
She's racist, Kevin. That's terrible.
Well, I mean, to know Petra.
Petra, you were born in Germany.
I was born in Germany. I was born in Landstuhl, Germany, and I was raised in a town called Tirrenia, which is right outside of Pisa in Tuscany,
Where are your parents from?
West Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
But my grandparents emigrated to the United States, had my parents met, got married, and moved overseas. So my sister and I, my parents are the only people in our entire family line who were born in the United States. Everybody else was born in Europe.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So
How many languages?
how many languages do I speak?
Yeah.
No, how many languages are there?
Yeah, I'm writing
There
a
are
book report.
7, including the language that Jessie uses to talk to her dog.
Yeah.
So I speak 4 languages, some more fluently than others. English is still I'm still on the fence about that one. So when I was 23, I was engaged to a guy named David, who I'm no longer engaged to him, but he is now my best friend, and he and his husband live in Hong Kong.
Isn't he a sculptor in Italy?
He is. He was a slightly shorter than the sculpture itself.
Well, marble puts on a couple inches.
It really does. Yeah. So what happened was he had moved to Italy. We wanted to go to Curtis Institute of Music because I had dreams of studying opera there because I'd gone to music conservatory when I was in Italy. And I thought that I was going to step off a plane and the world was going to welcome me.
Coming to the United States?
Coming to America. Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Were you
Hold on, Ian, give it a second. I might have Neil Diamond playing here. Let's just bask in it.
Let's.
Now.
Okay. Did you come with like an invitation to audition or try singing somewhere in America, or did you just come? You love to sing, and you're like,
They're ready for me.
No, it was they're ready for me.
Yeah.
And much to the chagrin of my then fiance, David, we moved in with his parents in Virginia Beach, Virginia. His parents did not like me. They did not approve of me. I was very, 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 very goth. Like if you take the highest definition of goth that you have in your mind, multiply it by 1,000, that might have come close. And my level of pretentiousness was off the charts.
And I imagine you had opera music playing like as a soundtrack everywhere you went.
Well, you laugh, but I tried really hard. This was, in the 90s, and I really wanted to figure out a way to rig up like the winter cape that I wore to play Mozart's Requiem as I walked down the street. I never could figure it out though.
Maybe David's husband figured that out.
He might. He's a pretty handy guy. But I don't think it's really David's jam anymore. He's more of a Patti LuPone kind of guy these days. So I decide on my outfit that I'm going to wear in the airplane, and I leave the Pisa airport dressed in a black lace leotard and black fishnets and black very high platform lace up boots and gloves, and those shower curtains that had the valances on the top, like the balloon valance at the top.
Sure.
So I had one of those that was black, and I wore it as a skirt with an ersatz bustle.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a hat with a fascinator, and I had my cigarette holder because you could still smoke on the planes back then, and I smoked on the plane back then, and had all my earthly belongings.
Were you wearing most of them?
No. But I was a little bit of a sight to
Do
see.
you think you stood out more in Virginia Beach or in Italy?
I think what happened, because when I stepped off the airplane in Virginia Beach wearing my fabulous outfit and got to the luggage carousel and realized they had lost all my luggage, I think I stuck out at the Walmart that I had to go to buy clothes because I had literally nothing to wear. I did not have a toothbrush. I had never been to a Walmart. I was very much taken aback at just the sheer size of it. And Virginia, I had been to Philadelphia a couple of times because my grandparents lived here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Petra. You'd been to the U.S. That wasn't your first.
Yeah. In fact, my parents at one point in 1987, they decided that my sister and I should go to Upper Darby High School for, I don't know if they thought a year or a semester or half a year, whatever. And we were home before Thanksgiving. To say I had culture shock, and I was so overwhelmed because Upper Darby High School had like 3,000 or I don't know, a million students.
Right.
And I graduated in a class of 17. So it was a whole different thing. So I got to Virginia Beach. I got off, I posed at the top of the walkway down the airplane thinking, here it comes, the silent applause, the
Drink
welcome.
me in.
Here I am, America. You're welcome.
Was David on the flight with you, or he was picking you
Yeah,
up?
no, he was on the flight with me.
I know David. David went first and was also like, "Here I am, America."
What he probably did was descend the stairs in front of me so I could make an entrance, because look, my house has pocket doors in it, and part of the reason I bought this house was so I could go hello every time I walk into the living room. Although the pocket doors stick, and once again, I feel like there's a lesson to be learned here. There's something hubris now that.
Wonder what it is.
I don't know. I'll get to it eventually.
All right, so you're engaged at this point, right?
I'm engaged to David.
And you had not met his parents? This is the first time?
No, I had. They had come to Italy to visit, and
Good. So you were well aware of the fact that they didn't care for you.
I knew very well. But
No.
I was so desperate to come here because I really wanted to be here. It's very hard to explain to people how Europeans, especially young, dumb 20-something Europeans, view America. And I'm an American citizen. I've been an American citizen my whole life.
Nobody.
But just letting you know, I'll get my passport. But I would walk down the street here in Upper Darby and be like, I'm in America. This is the most amazing thing in the world. The store, you can buy ham at 4:00 in the morning. This is the most amazing thing to me, because in Italy, everything shuts down and then everybody eats at 8:00, and So his parents had come to Italy. His mother had been a nun and met his father, who was in the Marines, and then they had 5 kids. So
That nun thing didn't take.
exactly. She abandoned her nunosity in favor of motherhood. But she was also the director of religious education at the church in Virginia Beach, and it was expected of me, and I was Catholic at the time, so it wasn't that big of a deal, to sing in a choir at the church. But she absolutely, I had parts of my head shaved. I used to wear stars in my hair and just studs. There was a lot going on.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But your first American gig?
My first American gig, I only lasted in Virginia Beach one semester. I went to Old Dominion to finish my degree, and I worked in their art department for a while, but I moved to Upper Darby to take care of my grandma. And my first gig was at Boscov's.
Oh, dear.
In the handbag department.
Oh, I thought you meant singing. Oh.
No. I worked in the
That makes
handbag
sense.
department. I worked at a gas station. I drove a cab. That was the worst job I've ever had.
In Delaware County, you drove a cab?
Sure did. There's a place
Oh,
off a
wow.
long lane that's sort of hidden. There's that little abandoned cemetery back there, and underneath an overpass is a little taxi dispatch place where
Wow.
I drove for 12 hours a day. And when I finally realized that I was making on average $2 an hour and they were sending me on all the drug runs, I was like, wow, I don't know that this is the job for me. I don't feel like a career path happening. So never went to Curtis, never went to the Academy of Music, which my second choice, which I was like, oh, if I must audition for the Academy of Music, I suppose.
Were you singing anywhere else? Were you like, other than church? Were you in a band or anything like that?
And I was in a band before I left Italy, but no, I was just singing at home, and I studied it still at Old Dominion. My plan was, I had an audition lined up at Curtis, but then I had a panic attack and I never went. And then somewhere in my mid 30s, maybe early 30s, I got serious about music again, and I started taking vocal lessons to prepare for an audition at either Curtis or the Academy of Music, only to find out that the cutoff age for Curtis is 28.
Oh.
And for the Academy of Music was, I think, 32. And that's what happened to my career in opera.
Oh, man.
I had none, but I ended up singing for, I did a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan operettas, and I sing in a band now. I sing in an 80s wave cover band, which is the oldest thing I've ever said.
You and David.
Oh,
had
we
a
did.
song,
I forgot all
right?
about that. Yeah, we had a song that was a big hit on the radio on the Europe techno charts that
Nice.
we didn't perform on, but we wrote. It's the dumbest song ever written. I will tell you what it is because I feel like it's important
Is this
that
it?
people hear. Oh yeah, it was called "All I Need Is Love." The band was called No, All I Need Is Love, All I Need Is, and the lyrics were so Moon June Spoony because we got yelled at by the Italian producer for writing actual thoughtful lyrics. No, it's techno. rhyme, good beat. Suddenly I'm Borat. I cannot do an Italian accent. So yeah, we ended up hitting the Italian techno charts. Whew.
Paid for the house though, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, we never
hell
got a
yeah.
dime. I think I got paid in wine, which is a pretty good currency in Italy, I'll be honest. Back in my goth days, though, I did have a band that it's so fucking pretentious. I would take old bits of scripture and poetry by James Joyce and by Percy Bysshe Shelley, and I would set it to this very dreary funereal gothy music. And I started a project and I called it Nadezhda, which means hope in Russian.
Is that one of the languages, Russian?
It is not. I can say one word in Russian, and that is Nadezhda. I did end up in what's called the Goth Bible, which was, if you're in the know, quite the publication. I don't know if y'all can see me rolling my eyes, but I can hear them in my own head.
I'm not familiar with it.
I'm not surprised. That's how pretty much most of my everything was.
But that's so fun. That's so cool.
It's something. So yeah, then I worked in a veterinary hospital for a long time, and people threw animals at me, and now I have a bunch of them.
Do you still sing opera now?
I do, mostly to annoy my husband and to get the dog howling. But I moved on to operetta, which is opera, but with people laughing at you on purpose instead of accidentally.
I can see you doing Nellie Lovett. I can easily see you doing Sondheim.
Oh, Sondheim. Good Lord, I love Sondheim. Oh, I was in a show. Oh, I was on Broadway. Oh,
That's true.
What?
If it's
Hold
the same
on.
show, I was
Hold
part
on.
of that.
yes. And Kevin was. That's how I met Kevin.
You met Kevin on Broadway? Kevin was on Broadway?
Well, Kevin's work was on Broadway. His
Somebody's got to sweep the floor.
yeah. No, the aforementioned David, who after we broke up, I'm sure you guys have guessed, came out of the closet. And then we didn't talk for a long time, and we're now very close friends. He's my best friend, in fact. But there's a show called Hedwig and the Angry Inch that the movie had just come out, but he had seen the off-Broadway play a long time ago. And in the early 2000s, he said, I want to produce this in Philadelphia. And he checked, and the rights were available. So we did it at the Painted Bride Theater in Philadelphia. And then it got picked up at City Theater in Wilmington. And this is where Kevin comes in.
I saw it. Julie and I went and saw it at the Painted Bride. But
Yeah.
Nothing to do with
But
it.
we hadn't known each other at that time. But part of Hedwig and the Angry Inch is there's a whole multimedia display thing that's happening on a ton of like TVs and screens on the stage at the same time as the actors in the band. And
That's not the way it was at the Painted Bride, though. You guys didn't have extra TVs, right? I thought that
Yeah, we
was.
did.
Oh, you
No, we did. Yeah. And we had the original, the artwork from the original production.
Right.
but we
And
had
if
to
whoever
rent
is
it.
out there
Yeah.
created that and is listening, it was wonderful. But if you're not listening, I'll tell you the truth, it sucked.
Did you have little, like 12-inch, tiny little TVs? Is that what you guys used?
No, we bugged everybody we knew for, their regular Zenith.
Tube TVs. Yep. I still have like 3 or 4 of them in the basement because there's nothing you can do with them.
There's nothing. So Kevin and Joel did the multimedia, and actually Julie did some of it as well. And we got asked to perform on Broadway, doing it for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, which we did, I want to say 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
Which was awesome. It was really like, talk about, I don't think anything I will ever do will top being able to perform that was incredible. So yeah, that was no more opera, some musical theater.
In this thing called Broadway.
Yeah.
Right. I will tell you this, I had never seen a cul-de-sac before. No, not a cul-de-sac. What's the word I'm looking for? A housing development. So where we lived in Virginia Beach, where David's parents lived, in the saddest house in the world, because also they hated each other, his parents, and his father was an alcoholic and he didn't talk to anybody, and his mother hated me, and she would put half the required amount of coffee in the coffee maker, and I had to sneak in my jar of Folgers crystals to keep my coffee from being see-through. Anyway, I'd never seen a housing development because they don't have those in Italy.
Right.
The first day we got there after the ensemble fiasco, David's friends were having a little welcome home barbecue. And they were, oh, let's, go for a walk around the neighborhood. And we were walking and walking and walking. And I did not see a store. And I was really confused. I think we were going to go buy beer or something like that. And I was like, well, can we walk to the store? And they're like, oh, no, you can't walk to the store. You got to get in the car and drive to the store. And I was like, well, how far is a store? Oh, no, you got to leave the development. And I was like, what do you mean? Oh, well, all this, it's like 200 homes.
With one road in.
Here. Yeah, pretty much one road in. And I was trapped. I had no American driver's license, no way to get anywhere. And David's father's in recovery now, and he and I get along very, very well. And his mother has since died.
Was his mother, if she was I almost said a priest, if she was a nun and then she left the cloister or whatever it's called, how was she when David came out? She
was at the end of her life, but she was like, pretty much she said, son, I knew. Okay. I think I didn't
know if at that point they were like, you can bring Petra back. Like, we're fine.
We like her now.
Nope.
I was wondering if mom didn't like you so much because she knew in her heart of hearts that her son was gay.
I think you have a valid point, because I've often suspected that myself, but I never asked David, although I should.
Yeah, I mean, it was misdirected frustration or whatever. But I was wondering, because parents always know.
Plus, she was a nun.
She was a nun.
So if she spent any time at all in the nunnery, then she saw a lot of gay stuff.
Right.
I imagine. I mean,
I like that you didn't grow up here, but you were always a dumb American.
I can't help it. I live in Upper Darby.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I left behind a cat. Here, see, remember how I said I was really pretentious? I'm not saying I'm not now. I just was really, really pretentious then. I had a cat. I named her Caiaphas Polyxena. Caiaphas after the high king who sat on the court, who had the crucifying Jesus. I don't remember because I'm not Catholic anymore. And then Polyxena,
Jesus Christ superstar.
Right.
If you know right. Well, it happens.
And then Polyxena, who was the daughter of Agamemnon and the half-sister of Cassandra, who in Greek mythology was the one who was cursed to, see in the future. Nobody believed her and everybody thought she was crazy. So I was like, oh, what could be more pretentious than throwing these two names together? So I had this wonky orange cat that had a half-functioning face that I left in Italy. And then my mother got sick of taking care of her, so she shipped her over to me. And I got that cat when I was 19, and she died when I was 44.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
She lasted a very long time. It's very ornery.
How's that for pretentious?
Yeah.
She was like, fuck you, I ain't dying. That's pretty much it.
But in Italian, because she was an Italian cat.
Yeah.
And that would sound like what, Jessie?
Oh, I don't know. You have to ask the dog.
How do you say "fuck you"? I'm not dying in Italian.
Vai fanculo, io non vado a morire.
That's what I thought.
That translates. I checked it out.